Hello everyone. Welcome to this training session on statistical data analysis using SPSS. My name is Vamsidhar. As a part of this session, I would be focusing on the bivariate correlations. This is an aspect where we talk about the relationship that is existing between the pairs of scale variables. I want to find out the strength of the relationship between the pairs of scale variables. That is where I resort to the correlation analysis. So just to understand the basic concepts before we actually go further implementing the same, this talks primarily on the pairwise associations between the variables. So you could look out for scale or ordinal. In case we are talking about the scale, we are primarily focusing on the strength as well as the direction. And even in the ordinals, there are two different kinds of correlation we would be talking of. One is the Pearson correlation, which is more applicable only to scale variables. Whereas when we talk about the Spearman's correlation, we can consider both the scale as well as ordinal variables. Now, these two things will talk about the strength of the relationship existing between the two variables, and this Pearson correlation basically looks at the analyzing the relationship from the actual data itself. So this works on the actual data itself, whereas the Spearman correlation, it computes the ranks from the data, order. It computes the ranks from the data, and it focuses only on the relative ranking across the two variables. It does not go with the absolute values, whereas Pearson correlation, it focuses more on the absolute values and the relationship between the absolute values itself. So going ahead with the same, if I want to find out the correlation between the weight and the blood pressure, that is how we use it. Weight and the blood pressure. What does this mean? These are two different scale variables in our example. So if I go ahead with that, I'll go with analyze, correlate, and go with a bivariate correlation, because I am taking the relationship between two variables at a time. Here I can give n number of variables, but in each case pairwise dependence is what will be typically looked at. So even if I give 5 variables there, it looks at a pairwise. So variable 1 versus variable 2, variable 1 versus 3, variable 2 versus 3. That's how a pairwise dependency across the various variables will be typically looked at. All right. Now let's give the two variables, the weight as well as the blood pressure, the systolic blood pressure. I'm going with the Pearson correlation coefficient itself. All right. Here it gives me a very simple calculation. It says that the relationship is around 0.505 with a significance level of 0.000. These are the two items, these are the two values that are important